Good morning, Kevin Seidenstricker with American Media and affiliate of Mansion Entertainment Group. Today for Oral Wellness Wednesday, we have Dr. Sayfo of Uncommon Orthodontics with us in the studios, and we're talking about a condition of the enamel of the teeth where they might be degrading. There's a specific name for it. I am not here to introduce that. That's why we have the doctor here. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you here, and always good to have you here to inform and educate our public, our listeners and our viewers on oral hygiene and oral health and how it manifests in many different ways and affects our bodies from head to toe in many different ways. And one of those is this term, I'll introduce it and I'll let you explain it, dental caries, C-A-R-I-E-S, dental caries. What condition is that?
Yeah, it's a loss of the outer surface of the tooth and creating a cavity in the tooth. And that kind of like goes gradually from the beginning, where the first time your tooth is intact and healthy, and then with higher consumption of acidic food or sugar, that acid or sugar create an environment where you lose the minerals from the outer surface of your tooth, like calcium or phosphate, and then slowly and gradually that enamel get lost because of the stress or any kind of like forces applied on the tooth through chewing or any kind of habit. And slowly and gradually you will lose that enamel and create a cavity, which is, we know it as a cavity or caries or decay, or there's a lot of names.
Okay, so this condition, dental caries, occurs over time. It's not just an overnight
Oh,
thing.
absolutely, yes, it takes time.
Okay, and you mentioned earlier acid. Now, I also know there's sugars that affect our dental health and acids. So sugars are easy for a lot of people to imagine. Sugars that we might introduce into our diet, whether we're putting it on our cereal, in our tea or whatever, or it's embedded in the food, injected in the food. But then there's also acids. Now, some of those acids, could they be orange juice? Tomatoes are highly acidic, yes, things like that?
Most of the drinks that you drink these days are highly acidic, and if you look in the ingredients, you'll find like a citric acid in high level, sodas, soft drinks, sport drinks, all these things, in addition to fruits or kind of like orange juice or any kind of like lemonade or anything. That directly affects the teeth, but at the same time, the sugar get consumed by the bacteria in the mouth, and the byproduct of that consumption is the same, which is acid that eats into your teeth and take away the minerals.
Is there something the body naturally does to counteract these effects of acid and sugar?
Yes. So let me explain this cycle. Let's say you eat something sugary or acidic. Now there's a cycle that starts from the minute you ingest that food to your oral cavity, and the bacteria start consuming it. That takes about 45 minutes. During this 45 minutes, the pH or the acidity of your mouth drops down below 5.5, which is kind of the threshold where the dental decay activities or demineralizations happen. Mm-hmm. And that activity lasts for 45 minutes. This is really, really, really important, because during those 45 minutes, you have the kind of like decay or degradation of your outer surface of your tooth, and then after 45 minutes you have a natural mechanism that cleanses your mouth first with the saliva, your cheek, your tongue, everything is moving around, so you get that area cleaned somehow. And then after 45 minutes, the content of your saliva will somehow rebuild or fix that damage that happened during this 45 minutes.
I always heard when I was growing up, brush after you eat. I always heard when I was growing up, brush right after you eat. And now this makes perfect sense. This resonates so well in my head. That first 45 minutes sounds very crucial, where your teeth are most vulnerable to those acids and sugars.
Yes. So first, if you look at this cycle, now that takes us to the three factors to understand prevention. Sometimes people say just brush. Okay, that's good, but we have to understand the three factors that affect that in our food. First is the sugar content or the acidic content that we talked about. More sugar, more acid, more chance to get those decays in the future. That's first. Second is the structure, how viscous, how sticky your food is. Because if you eat something that fibrous or not sticky, you have all these 45 minutes of damage, and then the body will fix it. But if you eat something sticky that gets stuck in your teeth for a couple hours, like let's say caramel or something like this, or a candy that you chew on, then that candy is going to keep producing that sugar for a couple hours. And then after those couple hours, you will have the 45 minutes that we talked about. And then after that, the whole process stops. Now, instead of having 45 minutes of normal damaging to your teeth, now you had 3 hours straight damaging your teeth. And that's where the brushing becomes very, very, very handy, is when you eat something that gets stuck between your teeth or around your teeth or
Okay. And then is there something about the frequency of how often you eat these things? Or
No. Now, we talked about this one. Imagine that, let's stick to the 45 minutes, right? Let's say you just had a sip in a sugary drink or a soda or juice or even ate something, right? Usually we eat 3 times a day. But, these days we eat about the average national kind of how many times you eat something or you put something in your mouth is 15 times a day. Between the food and the snacks and stuff. So 15 times a day, that means you are eating something almost every hour.
wow,
That means
that you're awake.
That means the mechanism or the process of decay is constant. You eat something, it's 45 minutes, you eat something else, starts over. And then the process is non-stop. That's why the caries is one of the first world disease.
And are there any specific foods or drinks to really pay attention to be afraid of?
Let's talk about 2 major things. First, soft drinks, soda, sport drinks, because they have the 2 material that we talked about, sugar and acid, and because they are easy, they're delicious, you sip on them all day. That's one, we have to pay attention to this one. And with this one, I want to be a little bit more specific. Because of the higher acidity, if you consume any of your soft drinks, please consume them with food. You're eliminating the time that they are in direct contact with your teeth. Now, remember, your food is covering your teeth, there's some fat, there's some, that's kind of protecting your teeth from the acidic nature of those drinks. And at the same time, you're not doubling on, affecting your teeth by food, and then later in a couple hours, your drink.
Okay.
The second thing about the soft drinks, you have somehow a window of 10 minutes after you drink it to brush. After that, if you don't brush, please don't, because your teeth, our outer surface of your teeth become a little bit softer that your toothbrush can create some micro scratches on your teeth. So either brush within the first 10 minutes or wait for an hour and then brush after that. I'm talking about brushing.
Right. No, that's a good tip. I would have never considered that. So there is that cycle you're talking about of the right and the wrong time to do those things. And then when we speak of our children and dental caries, what are some of the ages to pay attention to in their care?
Now, before we go to the ages, I will just talk about something that I get the question about all the time, which is milk. Okay, and some parents sometimes ask me, like, hey, tell my son to drink his milk. Milk is really not that much beneficial from a nutrition standpoint. After a certain age, you can eat everything, so milk, it does not really adding that much to your nutrition, unless you are malnourished or you cannot chew your food and you have just liquid diet or something like this. But milk has a lot of sugar, and it's a sticky drink, and it's very comforting for younger kids. So we give them the bottle just before they go to bed. So with milk, you have to pay attention, because that's the number one reason for early decays in children. It's the milk itself. It's not making your teeth stronger. It's actually damaging your teeth with the sugar in it and the timing of it. Because most people give it to their kids and they fall asleep. Now, there's no saliva production. There's no tongue movement that we talked about. It's just milk stuck on your teeth and getting fermented all night long.
That is really scary and really shocking. And so now the first question that comes to my mind, Doc, is there an alternative to giving that infant or toddler milk at night?
If you are just really going to give them the milk before they go to bed and then clean their teeth after that. Don't make that as a habit. I'm giving it to the kid and then let them sleep with it. It's more of a convenience for us, for the adult, that actually we are doing any service to this kid. Now, about age, I will say some crucial ages. 6 months old is the first tooth coming in. Then we have to start paying attention to clean those teeth. Just a wet, like a piece of tissue or any kind of thing that kind of wipe those teeth is absolutely fine, because at that time, there's not much food. It's mostly liquid diet. So you'll be fine. Just wipe those teeth. About age 1.5 years, now you start having molars in the back. The kids start eating and chewing on stuff. So now you have to start brushing. And brushing is not the kid's job at this age. We have to brush. Even if we have a very independent kid like my daughter that wants to brush her teeth, which is totally fine, you are building a very strong, independent individual, let her brush her teeth, but you finish by actually brushing the teeth. And if you want to play with the brush or put it right and left, that's great, but then you have to finish by brushing the teeth, which is like the actual brushing. About 2 years old is what's recommended to be the first visit to the dentist. Believe it or not, 2 years old is very, very important. Do not wait until you have cavities and pain associated with the visit. Create that visit as an experience where the kid knows the place, knows the dentist, knows the area, the smell, the feeling, the sound. Get some basic dental cleaning. Create that relationship so when you need it later, you find it, instead of the first day we go to the dentist with severe pain and extraction. That's always bad. 6 years old, we will have our first permanent tooth. Now we have baby teeth and permanent teeth, and about 6 years old is when we can be a little bit more loose about the kids brushing their teeth if they're doing a good job, and we can switch from kids toothpaste to more fluoride content toothpaste, because before that they will swallow part of it, and you do not want fluoride poisoning. You have to wait until about 6 years old. Now all these ages are like give and take. It's not like one day. It's not like a 6-year birthday. You just give them a brush and now it's you're on your own. 7 years old is the age that we recommend to have the first visit to the orthodontist, just to check on the alignment of the teeth, the functionality, the occlusion, and all these things as early as possible. That doesn't mean he's going to get braces that day, but at least you know what's there, you know what to look for, and then you get that good conversation with the orthodontist. 12-year-old, that's the end of baby teeth. No mixed dentition anymore. Last baby tooth is gone. Last permanent tooth coming in. I mean, technically you still have the wisdom teeth, which has nothing to do with wisdom. Just, unless you believe that 18 years old is the most wise age ever.
They think they are.
I mean, trust me. My daughter is 3 and she thinks she knows everything.
Of course.
So yeah, those are the ages that we have to look for, and then there are some changes that we have to pay attention to. But besides that, I wish everybody a good health, and brush your teeth, and eat everything in moderation.
Doc, as always, great information here. You brought some certainly new information, I think, not just to me, but our parents and adults out there listening today. Thanks for being with us today, and we look forward to talking with you next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Kevin Seidenstricker with Wellness Wednesday, Dr. Sayfi and Sayfo of Uncommon Orthodontics. Thanks for watching.